Hi, I'm Simon Rushton and this is Taxi Chronicles Podcast. On this podcast, we spontaneously interview unsuspecting passengers with their permission, allowing them to share their intimate life stories and concerns. As our slogan states, real riders, real stories. Some riders prefer to be anonymous, while others ask me to tell their story later on. Either way, there are all genuine 5 to 10 minutes stories, so sit back and enjoy this episode. Morning. Yes, we're back. Another episode, another rider. Today we've got an interesting guy who's been in the hospitality business for 10 years plus, and he's got more than enough stories to be telling, and he was giving me the privileges of knowing what it takes to be Miss World, which I think is better coming from his own lips and rather than mine. So here we are. Thank you for having you today, Bob.
That's all right, mate.
So tell us, what does it take to become Miss World?
Now all the females probably think, right, you got to definitely look great. You got to look the Miss World to become. But no, it's what I found now. Obviously, is that apparently it's mainly to do with background. As I said, we discussed earlier. It's more like the where they've come from. They want an interesting background, you know. Most maybe talented. They've been places. They've done a few things. You know, something that tells about themselves, not just the looks.
Okay. So you said you've been in this business 10 years. Has it changed much? Do you love it? What brought you into the industry?
I'm more of a security background, so you know I've been working in so many different places. Hotel, well, I chose hotel. It's quite interesting, you know, what people come up with, what you need to follow up on. Incidents are quite different that happens over at the hotels. You know, it's just your day to day would always be interesting. It's something different.
Okay, so never a boring day.
No.
So you got any funny stories that you can share?
Not so quite. You know, when things go down. You got to really, you know, you got to really follow up on it. There is always not really. If it's me getting pulled up on work, then it's obviously got to be something a bit more serious, not.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I hear you. So you explain about the divisions of the hotels and how a typical hotel works.
Yeah.
You've got different stages. Give us some insight how that is.
What do you mean exactly?
You explain about, you've got the VIP section, you've got all these different sections.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it'd be different if you know, MJ was going to walk into the building, and it's different. Everyone's going to know that. But yeah, you would have some sort of VIP guest that would already notify the hotel to the maybe guest relations department to notify them of the dates they were coming in, how long they're staying, who they'd be coming with, i.e. bodyguards, anything like that at all. You know, that sort of it. Not everyone would obviously be notified. You could be a millionaire, you know. You liaise with that department to sort of get your ways, and yeah.
What would you say you've learned from your extensive career that you wish you knew when you started?
I don't know. It's a tricky question. I mean, what would your response be if you was to ask a police officer that?
My response.
Yeah. Their response. Go on.
Well, police officer would say. So I've interviewed 3 police officers.
I mean, with their things, it's similar, to be honest. You know, all right. I'm not a police officer. I work for a security department of you know, many different private properties. Now it's different. I can't say wish things were like this, and you just got to, once you get into it, you just got to know how to fit in and get your job done, and do what you got to do. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And now why I said a police officer, it's different. You can't ask them now when you're going to start your job, or what do you think it would have been better from your day one. You really wouldn't know.
Well, what I'm saying when I ask that question is that a lot of people say patience, understanding. So you may be dealing with someone, but you need to understand that they're coming from an emotional point of view.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's something. But a lot of people, when they enter into a career, there's some of the basic things they don't realise.
No, of course. If you don't have any of them, you shouldn't be doing the job anyway. I mean, you've got to know certain things. You do know yourself, even before being hired for a position like that. You would know as a customer. You walk into Tesco's and you're gonna get something. You know, how are you not gonna be on the wrong side of that security that's standing by the door? You know, if you're doing what you're doing, no one's gonna interfere with you. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But obviously there's you just got to know certain things.
Okay.
How is being a driver, how do you know it's the one for you?
Well, I know it's not the one, I tell you that, and I can answer that question. If you love what you do,
Exactly.
If you love what you do, then you know you're happy. You know you can. What you love can always change. It's a bit like being married, but sorry, I should have had that in. But yeah, I would say in that respect, that's how I look at it. It's your loves can change. You can become different things. So, last but not least, what's the impact you want to have on the world as you?
Definitely would like to leave a mark somewhere. You know, you could, like I've still got a long way. You know, I'm not old, so hopefully there'd be opportunities, there'd be stuff to do where I could leave something behind. All right now, have to take each day as it comes along.
I'm with you. And one last little question I always ask people now: have you had any near-death experiences before in life?
What, during work?
No, just generally.
Myself, no.
Okay.
Not myself, no.
Oh, you got any interesting stories? We're seeing who can top.
Don't forget, I do work in the hospitality where you can hire a room. Something can go wrong in that room, you know? Or
Okay. It sounds like you got a story. You need a little push to tell the story.
I mean, it's life. Life is a blink of an eye.
Okay.
You can come, you can go stay in a hotel tonight. Can you be 100% you're gonna wake up tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you get what I'm trying to say? There's things that that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I understand. All right. Well, thanks a lot for that interview. It's much appreciated.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Okay then.
We hope you liked that episode. Keeping in mind, we never know who we're going to interview. We post twice a day, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. GMT. Have you ever considered the future economies to invest in? Why not listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories? Considering Africa has the fastest growing economies and population on Earth and has done for many years, it holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. We publish twice a week, Tuesday with a guest investor and Fridays talking about investment, politics and history, providing a clear understanding for any potential investor.